You know what's wild? Most people spend their entire lives chasing things they don't actually want. And I'm not talking about some philosophical mumbo-jumbo here. I'm talking about something concrete. Something you can see every single day if you just look. Think about it. How many times have you gotten exactly what you thought you wanted, only to feel empty? You buy the thing, you achieve the goal, you reach the milestone, and then there's this weird moment, this pause, where you think, wait, that's it. Here's what's happening. You're not broken. You're not ungrateful. You're just confused. And before you get defensive, understand this. Everyone is confused. Because we've all been taught to mistake hunger for appetite. Let me explain what I mean. When you feel hungry, really hungry, your body knows exactly what it needs. It's not complicated. But we live in a world where we've been fed so much artificial stuff that we can't tell real hunger from manufactured craving anymore. Our ability to recognize what we actually need has been completely scrambled. You wake up feeling restless. Something's missing. There's this ache inside you, right? And immediately, your mind starts offering solutions. Maybe I need a new job. Maybe I need a relationship. Maybe I need to travel. Maybe I need more money. But here's the thing. Your mind is just guessing. It's throwing darts in the dark, hoping something will stick. Because nobody ever taught you how to actually listen to what's underneath that restlessness. It's like this. Imagine you're thirsty, deeply thirsty. But every time you reach for water, someone hands you a bag of chips instead. And you eat the chips because, well, something is being consumed, right? You're doing acquiring. You keep convincing yourself that the next thing will be the thing that finally satisfies you. But here's what nobody tells you. Your true needs are quiet. They don't scream. They don't demand. They don't come wrapped in shiny packaging with a marketing campaign behind them. They whisper. And you've trained yourself not to hear whispers. Because whispers don't give you that immediate dopamine hit. Your true needs are simple, almost embarrassingly simple. But simple doesn't sell. Simple doesn't give you something to post about. Simple doesn't make you feel productive or accomplished. So instead, you listen to the loud voices, the ones telling you what you should want, what successful people want, what happy people want, what normal people want. And you adopt those wants as your own, without ever stopping to ask, but is this actually mine? You ever notice how exhausting it is to want things, like really want things, there's this constant pressure, this endless reaching. And even when you get close to what you thought you wanted, the goalpost moves. Because it was never about the thing itself. It was about filling a hole you couldn't identify. The truth is, most of what you think you want isn't yours. It's borrowed. It's inherited. It's absorbed from people who were just as confused as you are. We're all walking around with these hand-me-down desires, wondering why they don't fit right. And the mechanism that's supposed to help you recognize your real needs, it's been hijacked, completely taken over by everything outside of you, by what looks good, by what sounds impressive, by what other people are doing, by what's trending, by what promises to make you feel less empty. You can't hear yourself anymore. Not because you dream job on your own. Your idea of success. Your relationship goals. Think again. Most of what you believe you want was planted in you before you even had the chance to think for yourself. Your parents had ideas about what makes a good life. They passed them to you, not because they were trying to control you, but because they genuinely believed they were helping. They wanted you to be safe, to be respected, to be happy. So they taught you their version of those things. Get a good education, find a stable job, buy a house, start a family. And you absorbed it all like a sponge. Because when you're young, you don't question these things. You just accept them as truth. Then there's society. Oh, society loves to tell you what you should want. Success looks like this. Happiness looks like that. Love should feel this way. Freedom means owning these things. And everywhere you turn, you're being sold a vision of the good life that someone else designed. Social media made it worse. Now you're not just comparing yourself to your neighbors or your classmates. You're comparing yourself to millions of curated lives, all showing you their highlight reels. And somewhere, deep down, you start believing that's what you should want too. More followers, more likes, more impressive experiences, more aesthetic living. And you chase it because everyone else seems to want it, so it must be valuable, right? But here's the trick. When you adopt someone else's desires as your own, they never quite fit. It's like wearing shoes that are half a size too small. You can walk in them. You can even convince yourself they're fine. But they're always going to hurt. You pursue the career your parents wanted for you, and yeah, maybe it pays well. Maybe it's respected. But there's this gnawing feeling that something's off. You're doing everything right, but it doesn't feel right.
Language of wants for so long
that you don't even know there could be another way. Your parents' fears become your fears. Their definition of safety becomes your boundary. Their disappointments become your warnings. And slowly, without even realizing it. You start living a life designed to avoid their pain, not to pursue your own fulfillment. Friends do it too. You hang out with people who value certain things, and gradually you start valuing those things too. Not because you actually care about them, but because belonging feels necessary. So you mold yourself to fit. You adopt their interests, their goals, their way of seeing the world. And culture's been shaping your desires since before you could walk. What's considered beautiful? What's considered successful? What's considered normal? All of it seeps into you, forming the framework through which you see your own life. You don't wake up one day and consciously decide, I'm going to want what my culture tells me to want. It just happens through a million tiny moments, through movies and songs and advertisements and conversations, and the way people react when you do or don't do certain things. The problem is, when your desires are borrowed, your satisfaction is always going to be temporary, because you're seeking approval for choices that were never really yours. You're trying to feel fulfilled by living up to someone else's standards. You get the promotion, and for a moment you feel proud. But then you realize the pride isn't coming from within. It's coming from imagining what other people will think, what your parents will say, how it'll look on your social media. And that kind of pride, it evaporates fast. Real fulfillment comes from meeting your actual needs to all the voices outside, and start paying attention to the quiet one inside. So how do you even begin to hear that quiet voice? How do you separate what's actually yours from everything that's been loaded onto you? It starts with something most people are terrified of: stillness. Not the fake kind of stillness where you're sitting on your phone scrolling through calming quotes. Real stillness. The kind where you're alone with yourself. No distractions. No input. No escape routes. Just you and whatever comes up. And what comes up first? Noise. So much noise. Your mind will throw everything at you. Lists of things you need to do. Replays of conversations. Plans for the future. Worries about the past. It's like turning off music that's been playing in the background for years. Suddenly you realize just how loud it was. Most people hit this wall and turn back. They feel the silence immediately because sitting with it feels unbearable. But that discomfort, that's exactly where you need to be. Because underneath all that noise is something else. Something quieter. Something that's been trying to speak to you your entire life. Your body knows things your mind doesn't. It's been keeping score this whole time. Every time you did something that wasn't aligned with your real needs, your body registered it. That tightness in your chest, that heaviness in your stomach, that exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. These aren't random. They're signals. But you've been trained to override them. Push through. Don't be weak. Everyone feels this way. So you ignore what your body's telling you and keep moving forward based on what makes logical sense, what other people expect, what you're supposed to do. Here's the thing though. Logic isn't designed to understand.
You just felt into something and trusted that feeling.
Not recklessly, not impulsively, but with the understanding that your deeper self knows things your thinking mind can't access. This is where most people get stuck, because trusting yourself requires believing that you're worth trusting. And if you've spent your whole life outsourcing your decisions to external authorities, parents, society, experts, friends, then the idea of trusting your own inner guidance feels naive, dangerous even. But here's what actually happens when you start listening to yourself. Small things shift first. You notice you don't actually like that food everyone raves about. You realize that friend you've been trying to stay close with exhausts you. You see that the career path you've been on feels hollow, even though it looks impressive from the outside. These realizations are uncomfortable, because acting on them means disappointing people. It means changing course. It means admitting you've been going in the wrong direction, maybe for years. Technical moment. If what you're hearing right now resonates with something inside you, hit subscribe. It's a signal that this information matters to you. Most people choose comfort over truth. They'd rather keep pretending everything's fine than face the disruption that comes with realizing they need to change. And I get it. Change is terrifying, especially when you don't have a clear picture of what's on the other side. But staying in the wrong life because it's familiar, that's not safety. That's slow suffocation. And your body knows it. Your soul knows it. The only part of you that doesn't know it is the part that's been trained to value security over authenticity. Your real needs aren't complicated. They don't require a PhD to understand. They're simple. Alarmingly simple. Connection. Purpose. Peace. Growth. Expression. Rest. These are universal human needs, but the specific way you need to meet them is unique to
Expansive versus when you feel contracted. But honestly, the technique doesn't matter as much as the willingness.
You have to actually want to know the truth more than you want to be comfortable. You have to be willing to hear answers you don't like, to discover that the life you've built doesn't match the life you actually need. And then comes the hardest part. Not the discovering, the doing. Taking what you've learned about yourself and actually letting it guide your choices. even when those choices make no sense to anyone else, even when they look like failure from the outside, even when they mean walking away from things you worked hard for. This is where your true needs stop being theoretical and start being lived. And that's where everything changes. Nobody